Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back for the Monday edition of Second Breakfast. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day. Got in some gaming and had some fun with your family and your friends. We did that in spades. I'm still stuffed from last night's dinner. Baby back ribs and all the good stuff that goes with it. Tater skins and deviled eggs and oh yeah. Now I begin my diet, right? So uh, we had a bunch of interesting videos last week, or at least I thought so, talking about different things. Non magical armor and clothing as treasure. We talked about world building fantasy worlds. I did another one of those this morning. How high tech is your fantasy world? And some interesting feedback as well. Not as much as I would have liked, but I'm guessing that these videos will pick up steam later on down the road. They actually tend to do that where uh, I hear other people that's not the case. If you don't get a bunch of views right off the bat, it doesn't happen. But a couple of them have done really, really well. And we're going to continue talking about equipment and non magical equipment, that is, and world building. And we'll probably have a review this week. I'm not sure which one I'll finish first, but rest assured we'll have one of those. We'll probably have some other topics come along as as I think of them. As a matter of fact, I need to write one down because I had an idea this morning, but you'll have to wait till probably the end of the week for that one. Hold on a second. I also did a little shopping around on drive through. It seems that the game that I've been looking for the most is still probably the most expensive game out there, that being Scythonian Stars. I forget who put that out, but it's a sci-fi horror tack on, add on, whatever you want to call it, to the Mongoose Traveler role playing game. And while I have the PDF, I would like to have it in my collection, but it's like $69 for the hardcover, and it's not that thick a hardcover. Maybe 200 pages. I'm gonna have to go back and look through the PDF and see uh, just how much I want that in hardcover, because for that price I can pick up almost two other hardcovers from just about anybody else. I've also got uh, some more minis and terrain coming in today. As a matter of fact, some sci-fi terrain for Jackie's game, and I also started looking into a gothic horror skirmish game called Vampire Wars that I'm going to try and have that stuff ready for September, October, and start talking about it then. It's a little too bright and cheery outside for that right now. It's probably 75, almost 80 degrees, and will probably exceed 80 by the end of the day. So spring/summer is already here. As always, that it hits us in a 24-hour period. It goes from 40 to 60 to 80 to 100 degrees. But that's the high desert for you. So let's see if we got anybody in chat. Looks like that's a no go. It is Monday morning, so I kind of expected that. Plus, my ice machine is working. So if people don't start showing up, I will end this stream early today, because uh, if I'm going to be talking for an hour plus by myself, you lazy swabs, I'm going to get parched real quick, especially with as hot and dry as it is already. Let's see what I've got on my work table. Oh, yes. I wanted to get you guys' opinion on this. I'm not done with this, but this is the main engine section for the large starship I'm working on. A little liar. Uh, Gunmetal over zenithal black and white, and then a little bit of blood red and copper, although you can't really tell the difference between the blood red and the copper. it turns out. But those are the engine ports. I'm trying to get a sort of a not Zenithal, OSL object source lighting. Trying to go for the Star Wars Battlestar Galactica effect of that sort of blue white. But believe it or not, there is some yellow in that. What do you guys think? Does that look pretty blast offy? I'm using Neptune Glow from Army Painter, and oh, okay, you were here. Well, why are you here there instead of here? And then I was using neon yellow and of course just cold white for the white effects. But I think I need to do a little bit more white in there. It does kind of blur together, doesn't it? Like the yellow and the white definitely looks like a light effect of some sort. And then I did the smaller engines, but they're not anywhere near as done. But they almost look better without as much white. I don't know. It definitely gives you that look of like if you remember the old flash bulbs on cameras. It's kind of got that look like when you look into the flash instead of at the camera, and you've got those little that after image, burning in your retinas. What's up, Dino Laser? You're working. I figured you guys are working. It's Monday. I also sent Bear the link because he told me to start sending him the link. But I also noticed that he was doing his own show uh, like an hour ago, so he's probably burnt out from that as well. And the cargo containers are done. The whoop, this end is a little grungier, and I kept these more pristine because they're going to be in the inside of the ship. But they definitely, if you look carefully, you can see the rust effect and the grunginess on the outside of them, so that I could use these, like I said before, as just scatter terrain. If that if I ever need to have that need for just cargo containers, I was tempted to buy some of those metal tins that I think it's Timu or AliExpress has. They're like metal boxes with cargo container paint imagery on the outside. So like maybe you've got a little box of candy or paper clips or something like that on your desk, but it says like Coca Cola or some other logo that's clearly a used cargo container, and they're not that expensive, but I kind of also would rather them be less earthy, advertised for other companies while I'm playing my skirmish games or a role playing game or something like that. And it looks like Jackie is going to have a game this Saturday with another 8, 9 plus people playing at the dinner table. So I've got to start getting that stuff ready, and I don't know exactly what his uh, theme or setup is going to be for the game. So I have no idea what to actually get ready in the way of terrain and miniatures. It'll probably be more of the same high tech interiors of some fortification or another. I think they're. I think they're going to be robbing a bank this weekend. Heists are always fun, but I don't think he has it all written down yet. Exactly what mission he wants to send them on. My dog's going crazy over here, running around. What do you want, buddy? What do you want? I fed you. Want to say hi to everybody? See, that's his nose. Yes, you're a good boy. What do you want? What do you want? I'm petting you. What else could you possibly need? I fed you. I took you outside like 6 times. You should see this guy. Every morning he knows he's going to be bummed when the routine changes. Every morning he knows when Jackie's getting ready to go to school. He has to go out through the garage, grab his bike, and then ride off to school. and that takes a couple of minutes, and Chewie just goes nuts, just running around in circles, waiting for us to open the door so he can run outside in the front yard, sniff around to see if anybody's been, trespassing, and you can usually tell, exactly who and what was there. You can tell by his reaction. If it was like a cat, he starts getting all, stiff, like he's hunting a freaking saber-tooth tiger or something on the Serengeti, and of course to go pee on all those locations. He gets almost as excited to do that as he does when we come in through the door after having been gone 5 minutes or more. He's going to really be bummed when Jackie stops uh, going through that same old routine in the morning, because he'll be taking the part of the summer off before he goes back to one of our local community colleges. And I think his mom is more and more wishing that he would have gone into the Air Force. Uh, she's starting to realize, how much he can benefit from it, and how they can whip him into shape. She's very tightly wound, and a certain kind of retentive, and you know just up, up, up. Go, 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 doing all kinds of things. And of course, he'll learn how to do those things eventually. We all do. There's nobody out here I know that can't figure out how to run a vacuum cleaner or do their own dishes and laundry. So, what are you guys working on? Anything? You got anything on your tables? I'm just about done with these airships. About ready to call them done. I just have a little bit of work on the gold logo here. I want to make that pop out so you can actually read what it says. I think it's just a letter. Yeah, it's just the letter N for North or Northern. Air National Guard. Maybe he's actually talking the Army, and I'm like, no, he won't. He won't make it through the 9 week training course without at least a phone call home to mommy and daddy. This is too hard. You know what I mean? When I was in the ranger camp, forestry camp up in Lake Elsinore, every Friday there'd be kids calling home, just bawling their eyes out, just 17, almost 18 years old, just like losing their shit, and I was loving it because I was I didn't get to go to national parks or any kind of vacations like that or summer camp, and this was exactly like that. We even called it Camp Snoopy for the you call every weekend. Who do I call? Who do I have to call? Um, and so for me, it was like a big long summer vacation. Got there in September, October, I think, and there was snow on the ground, and I know he'll be fine, but he's just his mom is worried, and he is kind of lazy. If you could see like his room and his bathroom, typical teenager laziness, maybe a little spoiled from us, but I'm sure he'll be fine. I would rather. Yeah, I didn't know there was an Air National Guard. That's more up his alley. Uh, Except that he really, his mom's realizing that he could become an engineer if he went into the Air Force and get a job here at Skunk Works or something really local, and that's like literally like the last thing he wants to do professionally when he graduates and goes into whatever his career is. And of course, because she works in that industry, she thinks that's the greatest job you could ever have. And I'm like, he's not that kind of guy. He's just not that kind of guy. Painting everyone's mini for new campaign starting Wednesday because your players are cowards. That's a little harsh, but you could always send them over to my channel, and they could watch some of the early videos and get some tips and see how if an 11-year-old Jackie could turn things out like he did, they can do it too. He was actually quite accomplished for his age, and some of his works you can't really see up there, but turned out pretty spectacularly. And yeah, oh, I forgot about that one's there. Gosh, every time I look over there, memories of things we did back in the day, and memories of things that I know that will someday end up in somebody's dumpster, or they're going to get smashed or destroyed because someone didn't take care of them. Uh, Look into the SMART program that pay you to go to college and tuition. Um, he said he signed up for a bunch of things like that, but of course I've not seen hide nor hair of it. Um, I'm writing that down. Let's see who just popped in. James.
Hey,
James L, how you doing, brother?
yeah, good. It's really, really late here, but I just
Yeah, your
finished
volume's really
work.
low. Let me see if I can fix that on my end. That might help. So how you been,
How's
man?
that? Yeah,
A little
good.
better.
It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep, so I'm just like up and about doing stuff.
I last Lent, just last month or what have you. One of the things I gave up was staying up past midnight, and I've actually
Mhm.
uh, kept it going after that situation, and it's a big help if I can just because I'm so tempted, even though nobody's here all day, and I've got my own private quality time, which I really
Mhm.
enjoy. Even with grandma back, it doesn't feel like she's here, and I was just staying up from force of habit or something. Just for me, it was not really good because then like I would do this show and then I go right back to sleep for like 2 or 3 hours, and of course that would then continue the
Well,
cycle of.
I prefer to get up early and get as much daylight as
Mhm.
possible. But because it's starting to get very cold here, I'm sleeping in later, and normally my kind of like walking regimen helps me sleep,
Mhm.
but
Oh, absolutely.
um,
So you did 8 hours. I mean, 8 miles.
yeah,
I
8
don't think
miles
I'd do
today
that in
is
a
pretty
week.
good. Yeah, well, I mean, some weeks that's been all I've been doing, but I'm kind of going for a bit of a big push because I lost about sort of 17, 18 pounds so far. So I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm gonna try and lose like another sort of, 14, 15 at least. So yeah,
Nice. Yeah,
yeah.
I need to
But
do
normally,
something too.
normally that helps me sleep. But I just came home, crashed out early, and then like woke up at a weird hour. So yeah.
So hey, nobody else commented. Uh, what do you think? Does that kind of look for the
Is that the
engine?
back of your craft?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
but
looks cool.
this part right here is what I'm focusing on, trying to make it look like the engines are igniting.
I mean, I don't think you could do. I would struggle to know what to do other than what you've already done to make it look like that. You know what I
I
mean?
am going to put like a little more white in the center, but I
Mhm.
mean, I noticed it on the camera. It's hard to focus on what's going on. You can see the blue, you can see the yellow, but the yellow almost has that effect of like, am I actually seeing yellow or is that just glare?
Yeah, it looks like yellow highlighted to white, but with like a corona of aquamarine, like very light aqua
Yeah, that's
around it.
literally what it is.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
want it to be like if you remember like in Star Wars or Battlestar Galactica, the engines were like a blue white sort of flame coming out the back, and it's sometimes sort of got that look of like if you ever looked into a flash camera when it was going off, to where it's hard to see and focus on it because it's so bright.
I actually watched The Empire Strikes Back because it was on TV on Saturday night,
Nice,
and
nice.
that was quite enjoyable actually. But
It's the
I
best
don't.
of all of them.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought
It,
so.
it, I don't know why other franchises couldn't nail that on number two. There's always that sophomore syndrome where number two is like kind of crap or they really struggle with it. But this one, you know,
Yeah,
all the franchises,
Shadow and Son's Shadow and Son's difficult third album.
right, right, and it just has this rise of tension and then boom, and then you're left with like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? When I was a kid and I read the paperback book, I got at the grocery store before we actually went to the theater, and I was just like, as a kid, I was like, what, 12, I think, just like, no, he can't be your father. I was pissed. I was emotionally like really invested in it, and uh,
I
so when
realized that I realized I must have some kind of like wargamer autism or something though, because like for me it was just all about the ice battle, and then
oh
like the rest of the exposition and interpersonal stuff. I was like, yeah, 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 like get back out there and like fight it out in snow. Like, you know,
when Jackie and I play Star Wars Battlefront, the video game, we always warm up with Hoth, and then we'll go.
yeah,
Sometimes we'll play one or two battles, and then we'll go play some of the other locations. But if we could only play one game, like we were getting ready to go
yeah,
somewhere,
yeah.
it's like, okay, we're going to play one quick game of Battlefront Hoth. Absolutely,
Well,
it was.
I really, really have never been a huge Star Wars guy. Like I like the original films. I like some of the comics. Um, but every Star Wars tabletop game just looks great. Like, and I asked for just a smidge, like just a taste of that world. Like I said to my partner, can you get me Battle of Hoth for my birthday? Because it's like on sale everywhere. The Command and Colors. It's like a Memoir 44 style game.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I think she's tucked it away in the cupboard somewhere, but I'm not gonna touch it until September. You know, I'll be good.
Yep. I thought about getting it, but uh, it'd never get played, or it wouldn't get played for years.
I'm surprised. I thought if you could reel Jack in with anything, it would be like a Star Wars game. You know what I mean?
You think that, and I've got pictures somewhere. I bought a crap ton of the Star Wars miniature game that came in the blind boxes, so you didn't know what you were getting in them. And I was just,
Mm-hmm.
and I got into it, like years after it already, was discontinued, so I could get all kinds of
Yeah.
big boxes of just random miniatures, and I got everything from Hoth, all the walkers and things like that, and we had this white tile all throughout the house, and I've got pictures of him building up little battlefields of Hoth on, on the shiny white tile, and I walked
Well,
in this one time, and he's
it's
just
funny. Like I was thinking about it the other day when I was watching the movie. I was like, you know, I've never been hugely into mecha, like or like
Mhm,
walkers because they're
mhm,
not super practical and they have like quite a tall profile,
mhm.
right? I've never
Sure.
been hugely into that, but they were spot on with the drone warfare thing, right? Like, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, the that probe
um,
droid thing. Oh, absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I actually, as a kid, that was actually kind of a scary robot to me. The probe droid, the thing that was in the snow,
Yeah,
and
totally,
it
totally.
was, and I even remember trying to take a bunch of model parts and sprues and build one from scratch.
Hmm.
Because it was just amalgamation of parts and arms and things like that. And I remember what I came up with was not bad until it came to uh, building a stand for it, because all I had were more sprues, and it just I couldn't pull it off. You know what I mean? If
When
I
I
had
was a
known about,
kid, the main exposure to Star Wars toys was like two things. Like one was the old 70s action figures, which you could buy at the flea market for like 40 cents.
yeah,
And like no one wanted them at the time, right? And so like my friend had stacks of those, right? Like
mhm.
secondhand. And the other was Micro Machines versions of all the craft, which is what I had. That was
Those
our little,
both
you know.
items still command a respectable amount of money, considering all
Hmm.
things. And I managed to save a bunch of mine from my childhood for Jackie. But I knew also when he was he was like still in diapers and stuff. I started buying him again and just putting them
Hmm.
away in boxes. And everything that I ever bought for him, like secondhand, like things from my childhood, he
Yeah,
treated so well that you can't even tell he played with them. And he did.
that's
He played
great.
with them like crazy. He did such a good
Yeah,
job, not losing the guns and not crashing the ships together like you did,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and things like that. A few things broke here or there, but they were usually like the miniature game pieces that were on really spindly, flight stands and things like that. Which
Hmm.
to this day they still fail every time when it comes to uh, putting a clear acrylic rod, into a vehicle to make it look like it's flying or a miniature. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is about them.
I remember being very upset because I got I won a Leonardo Ninja Turtle um like toy in a school raffle
Mhm.
or something like that. I was like 5. I didn't know anything about Ninja Turtles, but it was very significant to me because I knew they were popular. So I was like, oh, I have some like toy that all the other kids have. Like, I'm like
Mhm.
cool now, right? So I've got a Leonardo. But all of his like nunchucks and swords and stuff, they're like snapped almost immediately. Like there's just no, not really for
Mhm.
playing with. It's kind of more of a display
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah, and you would think that they would do better on the off chance that it was going to end up in a kid's hand, and worse, it was going to end up in a kid's mouth. And you know, no, I guess they didn't learn from Battlestar Galactica. Um,
Right. Were those toys a bit fragmentary?
well, not just that, but the first ones that came out had these little red missiles that would fire out, that would
Hmm.
shoot, and like one or two toddlers died from choking on them.
See, I think when I was a little kid, I must have been like a hipster little kid because I was really into Doctor Who, but Doctor Who wasn't on TV at the time, and it was actually kind of a bit hard to get into. I think I liked my little secret fandom, you know. And my niece, who's like, I don't know, she's just turning like maybe 7 now.
Mm-hmm.
She's really into the Powerpuff Girls, which is not really a current
Yeah,
thing.
no,
It's like
no.
her little retro hobby.
I think a lot of us did that. Like I know Omen and I, there was a show Star Blazers that
Hmm.
was like on UHF, which wasn't even real TV, you know.
Hmm.
And I'd have to run home to make sure I didn't miss it. And
Yeah.
from middle school, and then after that I discovered Battle of the Planets, G Force, and other things. Even though you would have thought that our own versions like Johnny Quest. I just started watching the old episodes because I got the first season on DVD. That show was freaking
Hmm.
amazing. Give
Oh
me a
dear.
second to come back.
Hmm.
The Johnny Quest show was absolutely amazing for 1964. The background art and even the character art was just, to this day, there's not many things that went that hard on the animation style without coming out of like Japan or like a big company that's really actually going to focus on that aspect. I find a lot of Japanese animation, it's like the characters are crap. The
There
art.
used to be a there used to be a Japanese a Japanese show that was kind of like live action 1970s kind of martial arts show called Monkey, and it was about a Chinese. It's about a Chinese myth about a monkey king who like travels to rescue some Buddhist scrolls, and he battles all these people along the way, and it's
Okay.
very funny. It's very humorous. It was for like little kids, but it was overdubbed by like British people, and they did a really good like hilarious job with it. Like it's
Okay.
quite humorous,
Okay.
and there's lots of like fighting, and like it's a little bit philosophical, and like some Japanese progressive rock band did the soundtrack, and it's like huge in Australia because it used to be like you'd come home and you'd watch like The Goodies, which was like a very silly British comedy show, and then you'd watch Doctor Who, and then you watch Monkey, and Monkey was just like basically like kung fu for little kids, and they'd fight demons and stuff like that, and
Nice.
yeah,
I've never heard of it, but it sounds hysterical. We
yeah,
got a kick out of watching the old Ultraman. We just saw it in like the
mhm,
dollar bin, the first season of it, and my son just happened to be into Godzilla. You know, he's going through his Godzilla phase as a little kid, and we saw that, and I'm like, "It's $1, sure, yeah, no problem. We'll get it. We'll watch it." And yeah, right, King of the
yeah,
Monsters, and we
yeah.
just laughed our asses off. It was so the monster stuff was so terrible. Everything else was really neat. I really loved that 1960s wardrobe, like from
Mm-hmm.
UFO, Blake Seven to some extent, but it was mostly, headed toward the 80s.
Yeah,
And
they all have like serious. They're all using the same conditioner. They all have like perms, and they're wearing like bell-bottomed spacesuits and stuff. It's kind of
mm,
funky, a bit modernist, you know.
with UFO and I noticed with Ultraman, it was less bell bottoms and more like futuristic business suits that were.
Hmm.
What was that movie? You might remember. It was an old sci-fi movie about a televised game show of assassins, and there was this guy and this girl who ended up being like having to try to kill each other at the end. And it was kind of like Death Race 2000 or the Hunger Games, but they would just go throughout the city, the world, wherever they lived, and they were hunting each other down. But it was like the Truman Show. All the cameras were picking up,
Hmm.
what each of them was doing, and again, their wardrobe was just so just.
My my
I'll have
first
to find that.
exposure to
Hey, Janet.
my first exposure to Death Race 3000 was I watched this electronic music band like perform live, and they projected the movie behind them because watching a bunch of guys tweaking synthesizers is not very exciting. You usually got to have some kind of visual aspect or whatever
Mhm,
going. So that was the first time I saw it, and I was like, "This movie's great. I've got to find out what this is like."
mhm.
You know,
I just
no,
watched it for the first time last year. I think
mm-hmm,
was it for one of Connell's shows, or I don't remember. I think Owen was there. You remember when we watched it, and seeing Stallone back then is just
mm-hmm,
everything about it was great. I remember going to the theater to seeing one of the sequels, a later version, and I it was just like, this is okay, not terrible, not great. But then seeing the original, I'm
yeah.
like,
I mean,
why is
it's
this one
kind of
so much
obvious.
better?
It's kind of an obvious thing to remake, but like you can't improve on perfection. It's like with
No,
Dune.
no.
Like I watched the new Dune, and I'm like, yeah, like it's quite sophisticated, and it's got like people who are like, kind of currently have celebrity and stuff in it, but it just doesn't match up to the original for me. Like,
I'm glad you came on. I wanted to talk about something I saw this weekend. That I was at church on Sunday, and I was hoping that they were going to talk about the UFO thing, but because it was Mother's Day, they didn't.
yeah,
But there was this guy. Okay, you watched Twin Peaks, right?
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Remember the guy who owned the hotel, the really slimy guy who actually ended up
Mhm.
having a character arc where he became a better person? Well, you remember that guy? Well, that guy was at my church. Okay, I mean the spitting freaking image of this guy, like
Did he have like a big baguette as well? Was he like smelling this big loaf of bread?
no, no, no. But I could see the cigar in his pocket, the glasses,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
He was that guy. He was so that guy. I was just like, and I had just gotten through, telling my wife, a lot of times at church, people will leave right after the communion and not stay for the last like 15
Right,
minutes,
okay.
which, it's like that's what they came
That's
there for. It's
interesting.
just,
That's
pardon?
interesting. I didn't know
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could do that.
there are a lot of people that do exactly that, and it bugs the crap out of me because it's kind of disrespectful, and it kind of seems like they came to pay their $5 to get the Sacramento wine and the other thing. I'm forgetting the name,
I mean, I haven't
and
been to church properly in years. I mean, I'll go in there sometimes just for a bit of like quiet reflection time, like when no one's around. But to me, that's just using public space. Like I'm not, super, like I'm a little bit lapsed, but I
yeah,
can't ever remember
no
being
worries.
allowed to just like, like have a drive through McDonald's Eucharist.
Thank
Like,
you. That's what I was thinking of. And not only that, though, and he's not the only one, but him looking the way he did, dressed up exactly like you'd expect that character. I forget his name. It's slipping my
yeah,
mind along with a bunch of other things. Uh, he did the communion, came back, and didn't even sit down. He just did this really like flourishy, on his knee, crossed himself, like everybody saw this guy. It didn't hurt that he was, well over, 6'2". This giant
right.
fricker, doing the thing, and then spun on his heels and walked right the hell out. And I'm just like, oh, why
That's
you couldn't
funny.
stay for the last 15 minutes, especially since like when it's a
I
special
mean,
day like Mother's Day or something like that, they do a little mini extra sermon and a little extra blessing for the mothers and things like that. And I hate to
it's
be
probably
judgmental, but
cultural.
it was just so
It's
weird
probably
because,
cultural. Like people where you live, like feel like they're more in a hurry and they're like doing everything on the run. Like whereas
well, I
here,
mean,
people
when that
line up.
literally happens, it's like we get there at 7:30, so it's like
Mhm.
8:15 when that particular thing is happening. But I would not have noticed at all. I would have just been, paying attention elsewhere if I hadn't seen that guy and went, "Oh my God, you just walked off the set of Twin Peaks, or you time traveled here." Because folks who don't know, I just watched the entirety of Twin Peaks for the very first time, uh,
Yeah,
just last month, the month before, whatever. Loved the hell out of it, most of it, and
yeah,
wished I'd seen it back in the day. Even the second series, I enjoyed. Uh, Although David Lynch has a real hard time making an ending that doesn't make you want to strangle him.
he doesn't make it easy. He doesn't make it easy for you. But I think that's like I
Maybe I hope
struggle
that's
with
what it
him.
was.
I really wrestle with him because I'm like, everyone talks about how great he is, and I can see elements of like visually his stuff is amazing, and like there's a
Hmm.
quirkiness, and like there are like there's a lot going on in the storytelling, but like I said, he sets up something really nice and then he'll destroy it in front of the audience in a really kind of confronting way. And sometimes it's just like there's no
Hmm.
resolution. It's like you're just left with that. And it's not maybe not what you want to feel after a long day. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, like when I saw the ending of the first series, when he's smashing his head against the mirror, and it was like almost midnight or maybe even after. No, it was definitely before midnight, but it was the last. I timed it so right before I went to bed, the last episode would play, and I'm watching this and going, okay, how's it going to end? How's it going to end? And then I get hit in the nuts with that ending. I'm just like,
yeah, I was a
I don't
little bit
understand.
spooked.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
understood, but it's like I didn't understand
I
why
was
he
kind
would
of
end it.
freaking out. I was kind of freaking out as soon as Bob was becoming a regular fixture. I mean, the thing is, right, that was the problem. Like, I'd fallen in love with Twin Peaks, the town, and I was living there with everyone and loved all the characters there. And like, he's kind
Mm-hmm.
of setting a lot of them up for a pretty horrible fall. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like I just wanted to stay in like nice, idyllic, quirky Twin Peaks. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily see it like corrupted like that. But otherwise, you wouldn't have a story, I guess.
Exactly, and Miguel and Sylvia from the Red Room, along with Grimm, unfortunately, did do a really nice tribute to that in their role playing fashion, because
Mhm.
that was one of their biggest, I think, influences on their the things they really like. It was like a big thing for them
Yeah, yeah,
growing up, and then they did this game called End of the Innocence or End of Innocence, which is your traditional role playing game about kids on bikes. And I'm like,
hmm
they have the makings of a very special story, starting out with kids on bikes, going into their last kid adventure and mystery before uh, high school ends or what have you, and they start having to grow up and knowing all the weird shit that would go on in a Red Room universe world, behind the veil or just on the periphery of civilization. I hope they actually tune into this and that, and put something out like a full like story, not a game, but just like a story, a novel, a comic book, something like that, and capture all the lightning that they've managed to summon in the various bottles that they've stored it in, and give us something like that, because I think the world could use another Twin Peaks slash Erie, Indiana, one up Stranger Things all combined, and and all those something
yeah.
wicked this way
Even that's
comes.
exactly who I was thinking of. Like, I was thinking of. I mean, I know he's a bit of a handful in terms of his discourse, like about politics and stuff, but even Stephen King, and I mean, like, you look at Stephen King's body of work, it is a bit formulaic, right? But
Mhm,
he does do that coming of age story, that kind of children's adventure story gone
mhm,
slightly awry and into the
mhm.
supernatural and kind of
Stand by
often tying
Me.
in. Yeah, yeah. I really like The Stand. That was my favorite thing of his. And I quite
I
like.
enjoyed parts of it as well. Um, I had a huge crush on Laura San Giacomo back in the day,
Oh yeah,
and she was such a
yeah,
weirdo. I don't know what ever happened to her. I remember
yeah,
she did that comedy TV show, Just Shoot Me, I think it was. I watched that.
yeah, yeah.
She and David Spade were in it together, and then she just up and disappeared. But
Well, a
going
lot of
back to
these,
the other thing,
I think a lot of these ladies that they had like a unique quality and they were kind of up and coming. Like, I listened to you mention the girl from Northern Exposure the other day when I was out walking, because I listen to podcasts when I, dude, that's my
we were
podcast.
just talking about Northern Exposure, or I was.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think a lot of those ladies, like, it's the Sean Young situation where they don't like how women get treated in that environment. You know what I mean, or what women are expected to
Good on
do in
them.
that environment.
It is absolutely deplorable. There's no reason for it in today's day and age.
Well, I mean, Shirley Temple experienced the same thing when she was a little girl, and she
Nothing's
came
changed.
out. She came out of the casting room with uh, to see her mother, and she told her mother that this guy like basically propositioned her. I think she was like 9 or something at the time,
Hmm.
and she said, "Well, what was your reaction?" She said, "I just laughed at him because it's so like it's so wrong." And
And
her mother
ridiculous.
said, her mother said the other guy that we were talking to did the same with me, and my reaction was exactly the same. Like it was just like, no, it's, like it's out of the question. Like
Yeah, especially for Shirley, at the time, because she couldn't possibly understand. It was just suddenly there was
yeah,
this
yeah,
grown up that was naked, behind
yeah,
a desk. Of course
yeah,
you're gonna laugh. That is
laughing,
ridiculous,
yeah,
even as a grown up to think of, someone doing something like that. So like, let me get this right. You're just gonna what, bang on the desk or on the couch? Who's cleaning that
yeah,
up? You know what I'm saying? It's just nasty,
yeah.
and
I
kind
mean,
of
it's not exactly like
ridiculous.
I
Oh,
mean,
she was in that too.
I'm sure I've said chauvinistic things on this channel in the past, but at the same time, I'm like, a lot of these actresses, I don't think they go the whole way because they actually go, you know what? I just want to live a normal life and not be pestered by
Hmm.
various
Hmm.
industry people. Like, I've had enough. You know, so I can't
Yeah,
say that.
and uh, I always looked at it like, because of, the project they were on or something like that. They met someone that they clicked with, luckily enough, without having to go down the meat grinder, so to speak, and married someone
Oh,
and had and literally lived happily ever after. And we never hear from them again because they're out of the limelight. They're having a family, doing all that cool stuff that, I have to assume that a woman would actually, kind of be dreaming of to begin with. Going to move to Hollywood. The Marilyn Monroe thing. Small town girl moves to Hollywood, hits it big, makes a movie or two, meets the man of her dreams, gets married, and disappears. Never having to
yeah.
worry about anything again. Apparently,
Well,
she
I
has
don't
a
know.
reoccurring role on NCIS, according to the internet. Well, that's what I get for not watching TV. Coco, did you reach out and send me your address yet for the giveaway? But yeah, whereas with guys when they get into Hollywood and they make it big and they make it past the casting couch, they just keep going. If they can, they will never freaking retire. They'll just keep doing it until you know they're
Well, this is more of
Christopher Lee age, still rocking on their deathbed.
I mean, it's like Russell Crowe is playing like people's dads now. He's played Superman's father. He's officially transitioned over into the late
Like Kurt
stage.
Russell kind of thing.
I also want to congratulate Russell Crowe on losing all that weight to play Herman Goering. Um, that was a joke, but
Didn't see. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, thanks, Coco. Yeah, I'm so behind the times when it comes to Hollywood and movies and TV, etc. For the
I'm trying to
past
be. I'm working on it.
for the past 6 years, I've just been hanging out with you guys and watching educational videos and things like that. And it's I was talking about the UFO thing. Um, I'm not even remotely surprised how absolutely underwhelmed everybody was or has been with the UFO drop, and I am laughing my ass off at the people trying to blow it up and make it like the big reveal that those kind of people have always hoped for, but have not
Well,
actually done even a modicum of actual research into anything
I'm doing as
deeper
much
than
as I can to I'm doing as much as I can to like proactively avoid the news because I always feel like the story is much the same. But the impression that I got from it was that it kind of just confirmed things that we already know, which is that we don't really know very much. And
exactly,
when I looked
exactly.
when I looked at some of the footage, I was like, some of these things like have the signature of just like energy or maybe even something that might be domestic to Earth. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Um,
Not just that, but I'm amazed at how how both sides, have elements of complete and utter distrust in whoever's government you want to talk about. Just complete. Just don't trust them. But when they finally get their Christmas wish list on a silver platter and it's made out of garbage, you know what I mean? They just gobble
Well,
it up
yeah,
like it's like it's Turkish delight or something. Do these guys not remember that it's their job to lie to us on a daily, minute by minute, if not second to second basis, and that
it
anything and
feels
everything
it feels
on
like
a
a distraction.
screen can be faked or hoaxed or fabricated from whole cloth. Found a convention that I will try to attend to next year. Harnmoot,
I've got a
nice squirrel. How you doing?
realization. They've already landed.
Right? Quick,
But
everybody quick, everybody up the stairs. They'll never catch us.
understand exactly. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I have trouble investing in the narrative. I mean, I think the thing is the way things are. If you're reasonably intelligent, you look at everything that's going on and everything that's being said on all wings of politics, and just kind of go, there's a lot of noise and not very much signal. So I have my doubts that there's anything concrete to worry about as far as aliens go. Like,
Well,
I'm not
there's
even
not
really
only that,
sure. I'm not even really sure I believe in aliens. Like, I don't, if I could throw
if they had, if the aliens had done like even 1 hour's worth of research, they would have discovered we're the most corrupt, uncaring, callous planet in the galaxy, full of the worst life forms they could ever come across. And unless that's what they're looking for, you would think that they would roll up their windows and drive on by, and
well,
pray to God that we never learn how to freaking leave our system.
there are like a couple of there are a couple of theories about what like alien cultures would do. uh some of them just would just be like, well, they wouldn't even go that deep and they would just strip mine the planet of every available resource. You know what I mean?
Yep,
um
and look at us like we're just the microbes and the bacteria that
not
they have
even
to
really notice,
slough
like
off.
not even really notice. It's like just brush that out of the way and you know.
Mhm.
But I'm a little bit skeptical. I don't go the full, like I try to keep an open mind about these things, but the whole like, oh, we've prepared the pastors, for the potential
Right? I
shock.
mean,
And
what
like, so you
pastors? What
prepared the
what pastors?
pastors, but not priests, not imams, not Buddhist nuns, or
No.
just pastors. Okay, all right. It's a sideshow. It's a sideshow brought to you by the same people who had a whole bunch of e-celebs holding a bunch of folders outside the White House. You know,
Another
so
distraction to keep us from wondering what they're doing with our money.
yep. And
That's all it is.
any of
That's
the other
all it's ever
things
going
they're
to
getting
be.
up to.
And until people figure that out and realize, hey, you know, uh, I got potholes in my road. I've got problems in my neighborhood that could surely
Yeah.
be fixed with all the money, that they're taking from my paycheck, my taxes, etc. Oh, and wait, they're trying to raise taxes across the board, and every city in this country is looking for an excuse to raise the taxes just to pay for what? They're not fixing anything. They haven't touched my roads in 5 to 7 years, and whatever they did, the blacktopping and fixing the roads, every road we go across is back to the way it was 7 years ago.
The
The
situation
Romans
here
could
is
make roads that would last forever, and we can't make roads that will last 7 years.
the situation here is not that different. I mean, I could definitely see the government here is
Exactly,
starting
Owen.
to run out of money. You know what I mean? And they're kind of
Hmm.
going, where else can we find money? They're like looking around, going, hey man, have you got any spare change? So
Right. Well,
you know,
I always tie my theory in with what are they actually spending their money on? Especially now that Epstein Island is closed down, they have to be going somewhere else. I mean, did someone raise the prices on little boys and girls? Is that what's going on? Because
well, I mean,
and cocaine.
even with even with that whole thing, I mean, I understand why that gets a lot of focus. But I kind of feel like that's not the whole story. I feel like that's the thing they used to ink the deal rather than the deal itself. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? That's more the after party,
Like I
you
said, the
know?
cocaine.
Yeah.
There's, um,
There's a lot of trafficking, not just of people, but also of substances and a lot of money laundering as well. You know, it's like
right.
it's easy, it's easy
I
to go out
honestly
there
think,
and grab money, but it's hard to like actually spend it if you didn't earn it properly.
right. That's the other thing I think is that like vast fortunes that would make our heads spin are uh, partially Omen are literally, vast fortunes are literally sitting in Swiss bank accounts, just getting, zeros added to them, um, but not actually being spent. Like you said, a lot of it probably is. If I had, if I found $1 million right now in a suitcase, right, just found it and decided to keep it, it would be incredibly hard to spend that money without the IRS figuring out something's up.
Yeah, it would. I
You
think
know,
about it all the time.
so they probably
That's
have the
I think
same
about
the
it all
same
the
issue.
time.
They get a bribe of 600K or some shit, whatever. Just throwing numbers out there, and then they got to put it somewhere. What they've got, they've got a stockpile of mattresses full of money in their garage or something, because they can't actually spend it,
What it
without.
what it takes at a very high level is tacit agreement from things like Interpol and the Bank of International Settlements and various other institutions. Like, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, there are helpers. I mean, if you have a private company running your country's police database, you can make a person disappear off a map, like from point A to point B, quite
Yep.
easily. So yeah, I mean, just throwing it out there.
Mhm.
Not pointing a finger at anyone in particular, but yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't, like back when I was, helping kids get back home. Uh, a vast majority of them were coming from the United States and then going to uh, there or another place, where they would then be auctioned or sold or whatever. Although South America was quickly, stepping up their game to enter that market. And since then, I think that the customer base has become so different that no that their tastes have changed, or it can fluctuate, so that they have to get them from anywhere they can, and just have a ready supply of different types. I'm just going to say that without getting too inhumane about it. So I've got my Gothic War, or my Vampire Wars on its way. The miniatures on the
Yeah.
way, but I'm gonna kind of keep that stuff on the DL until September, because, like I said, it's just too bright and
Mhm.
cheery outside, and I want to bring some of that inside and not work. Getting too. Oh, did I pack that away? I did. I have this wonderful, absolutely gorgeous
I didn't realize
Gothic.
that I didn't realize that Zombicide had gone from Simon over to Fantasy Flight now.
I didn't know that either. I got to say, I hated
Yeah,
everything I saw in that pirate setup. It
I
was
like the
just.
I like the canon, but they missed it. They kind of missed a trick not giving you some like rowboats or something. Like
Oh well, yeah. They
um,
decided to do that. I think with cards, but you could just feel the wokeness coming off all the characters. They're supposed to be the heroes. They looked nothing
oh, they've
like
always
what.
they've always done a pretty kind of modern kind of Starbucks, employee of the month wall kind of
Maybe.
line up a little bit.
Hey
I
there,
mean,
hi
the
there,
thing,
ho
the
there.
thing is, like, I wouldn't actually mind that kind of casting if it wasn't done in a kind of mean-spirited and political way. If they were choosing
I can
people
hear
who
you.
were just genuinely great actors, it would be a little bit different. I don't think people would push back against it as much, but I think it's the intent is always just to stir the pot.
There's because I
You
remember watching some TV shows on historical pirates, and there were plenty of historical women in the era
know?
that weren't like the super Mary Sue pirate captain. They were pretending to be men, as side characters, but still their stories were worthy of telling. You know what I mean? If you need a female
Well,
hero,
a lot of people from the Caribbean and the Barbary Coast as well. Like I guess
right? They there's
Chinese
no.
pirates as well. You know,
I know I saw that video he did on Mundane Equipment, but of course we're just gonna have to chalk it up to coincidence, right?
Yeah, always can always chalk it up to coincidence. Absolutely, no one ever steals anybody's ideas ever in our community. Our community is perfectly honorable and without any miserable human beings at all.
I'm actually on really good terms with Tenkar, and
Tank's a
and,
buddy
and
of mine. I'm just talking shit, dude, for the sake of talking shit. Relax, California.
it would be nice to get a little recognition, but you know, imitation, flattery, all that. I'll just take it with a modicum of grace and move right along. I've seen people take from other people. The likelihood that it's a coincidence,
Oh yeah, very high.
well, it depends
I
on
don't know how you
the
could.
proximity.
I don't know how you could do like a hobby channel without overlapping someone else's channel, or like even coming back to something you did 2 years ago by mistake. Like eventually, you know what I mean?
That's perfectly fine. But when it's within a week, there's like, to me, there's very little mathematical chance that it is a coincidence. The odds are
When he
uh,
starts dressing like you and has like a little guitar theme song at the start,
Busts out
that's
his
when you
son.
gotta worry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 I really don't
yeah.
think Eric can pull that off. I think that's why Rach does it. She's got the long hair.
Mm-hmm.
Because my hair is actually longer than my wife's by leaps and bounds now. Um, and I was looking at a picture we've got of Jackie when he had long hair. Those of you who remember when Jackie pre JROTC, he had some pretty long hair, and one of his oldest best friends clearly, there's a little imitation there as well because he's also got really really long hair now, and it works with him. Jackie, not so much. It always looked like he ended up looking like Judd Nelson's character from The Breakfast Club,
That
and
was
not a good way.
that was lockdown hair though, wasn't it? Like,
It kind of was, yeah.
yeah.
I absolutely agree, Mike. Inspired, uh, but back in the day when I was doing Table Breakers and Legion of Myth and things like that, it was really really bad. Some of the overlaps without. I mean,
Yeah,
what's cooler? What's cooler? Giving a shout out or not?
but the problem
Be
is,
honest. If
right,
somebody,
is when you have a regular show, when you have a show that's like gotta be at 9 o'clock on Tuesday, like when you put that pressure on yourself, like you're always gonna end up doing stuff like that. Whereas if you just can't like only do it when you feel like it, then it's probably less. It's probably only going to talk about stuff that's
Probably stop
super
stop
important.
describing the entire nature of my channel, please. Only doing it when I feel like it. Exactly.
Yeah, but that's good though, right? Because like you're bringing your A game, or at least your B plus. I have a headache.
No, God,
I
no.
have
Most times I
coffee.
just turn on the camera and make fart noises until someone asks me a question. Like, seriously.
yeah, I've come in a couple of times, and I'm just like, oh man, he's floundering.
Not
I'm out. No,
floundering,
I'm
just
kidding.
bored. Just bored. It's not even
Well, that's how I
flattering.
feel like.
Oh dear God! No, please pay attention to me and love me, viewers. Please, I
No,
need
no,
your
no.
love
I don't
to
mean
make sure
that.
my
I mean,
life is meaning. No, it's just
no.
hey, what do you guys want to talk about? Nobody's talking. All right, blop. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. I'll do that for an hour.
I mean,
I don't
like
think
when I started the show this morning. I don't know how long it was before James got on, but I'm in my head. I'm just like, oh no, this better not be another one of those hour and 15 minutes of just me freaking running at the mouth.
Well, I could tell you were kind of like, shuffling your papers on the desk a little bit on the news
Yeah, I
desk.
didn't even have any paper. I got a
I was
napkin.
like, well, I
Jesus
can't
Christ! Have you guys seen this Neon Odyssey space opera in D&D by Legends?
Yes,
of
yes.
Atlantis?
I was thinking about backing it.
$9 million.
Yeah. Have you seen? They've got a pledge down at the bottom that's $1,000, and I can only imagine how many people have actually chipped in the full $1,000 for their super Technicolor woke freaking space opera looking game.
Why,
It does have,
John Warfin? Why? I don't understand.
So as someone who's like very toy soldier oriented, like what is this thing?
I don't fucking know, but it's
okay. I'll sum it up real quick. It is a 3-volume hardback space opera set with all of the modern sensibilities and ridiculousness jam packed into it in a 5E engine, I believe. It does have options for miniatures and spaceships and all kinds of bells and whistles and doodads and stretch goals and dice bags and DM screens and literally everything you could possibly. It's like they blew their entire wad now, thinking
Right.
we're going to do it now and damn the torpedoes if we need to do something else a year or two from now to keep ourselves afloat. We'll worry about it then.
$9 million.
They'll patch it up.
Like they're not spending
pretty
$9 million
successful.
fucking dollars on this project, brother. There's no way.
Oh,
This
no,
is costing
no.
$9 million. So let's be really generous and say, okay, they're going to lose a third of that to taxes, fees, everything, right? So they're down to $6 million. Let's say half of that goes to publishing the material. $3 million worth of publishing, which they'd be really bad business people if that's what they did. But let's say they had $3 million to publish and produce and ship all this shit out. They still got $3 million fucking dollars to sit around and rub on their dicks. Like, Jesus Christ.
I use a washcloth.
I've literally never heard that expression before.
Listen, if I had $3 million, fuck washcloths.
A gold washcloth from now on.
Oh,
No.
you remember that scene in the Venture Brothers? I just watched it again last night, where St. Cloud is using the puppet, that puppet from I think it was Mr. Rogers, the meow cat, meow, meow. He was using that as a washcloth while Billy, Quizboy, and Peter White are watching him. Trying to have a meeting with him, and he's in the shower because they arrived late. And so he has his albino bring in on a silver platter the cat puppet so he can watch his nether region with because he's got that kind of money, $9
million fucking dollars. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
it's funny because
Why don't I
people
just
always
sell
say-
out? What's wrong with me, Shadow? Why don't I just sell out? What is my mission?
You should,
Well,
because you can use $9 million. Surely, I'm sure you could think of something to do with that goes even beyond the washcloth.
Here's what I propose, Bear, and I want in on it. You create a new persona, right? So nobody knows it's you, and you sell out completely, and you keep your perceived integrity intact, and this character that you're playing elsewhere rakes in that kind of money.
Yeah, that's good. But the thing is, like, people always say, "Oh, the tabletop industry's dying. Nobody's wargaming." And then $9 million comes up. It's like it must be doing okay, right? We must be doing.
Sorry, I don't
right,
think I've put this clear. I don't think I've made this clear. Let me make this clear. $9 million fucking dollars for a 5e supplement.
Well, it's a full game. It's got everything.
Well, that changes everything. What the fuck is wrong with people?
Because like I have been saying for a very long time, and I even said it this morning, I'm still perplexed why medieval fantasy is got the lion's share when there's other fantasies out there that they can inject their woke crap into. Oh, guess what? Space opera just got a freaking major rear end injection of woke ideology and modern sensibilities and modern art style.
You,
It looks like just absolutely like pretty much like the most
you're
immature take on
you keep
on
your gender
space
bending
opera.
out of Napoleonics, thanks. We don't need your gender bending in horse and musket wargaming. No, I
No, but I need your
like
$9 million.
nine
Fuck
nine
that.
million dollars is nice. I'll wear a
I'm
dress
gonna
for
I'm
nine
gonna
million
make a game
dollars.
called Woke Patrol, and it's gonna be just
I'll
basically
wear
about
I'll
a
wear a
bunch of woke
I'll wear a
characters going around
flowery
fighting against everybody. They're either fighting fascists or Nazis or the super enemy, the fascio
yeah.
Nazis. I'm like, come
I will make Kamala an actual character class for
she'll be the
$9 million.
queen. She's the
Yeah.
queen. You understand? That's the whole campaign. Is you have to go save Queen
I'm
Kamala
gonna save
from
Kamala.
the grips of the Orange Men.
That's
Ooh,
Yeah.
terrifying
Orange
because I
Men.
actually have an NPC in
Yeah.
my D&D game named Marla, and I'm gonna have to kill her off now. Thanks, guys.
Kamala.
And her
Wait,
pony pal,
Marla.
yeah, Marla.
I said
For $9 million.
Kamala.
For $9 million, I'm a woman. Okay, I'm the best woman who ever woman. I'll do that for 4.5.
I'll do it for one. Give me 1 million. I'll do it. Fuck. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I'll
I
take
actually,
half.
I actually modeled her.
Literally, I'll take 1/10 of it, pay off every fucking debt I have, produce heroic on prestige saddle stitched fucking offset printing, send everybody a free full color hardcover version of it. That'll take 1/10 of that million. You know what I'm saying? It's $100,000 and I'm done. Then I'll take 500,000 of it, go to my buddy and go, here, take this to your broker and invest this in everything that will just make me money. Like, safe stuff, not risky stuff, but every mutual fund, every hedge fund you can that just has a good return, blue chip, whatever. So that way I'm getting a check every month to live on. Great. The remaining money, I'll rub all over my body for charity. I don't fucking care. Like, Jesus Christ.
Jelly
$9 million fucking dollars.
Jelly wrestling in the Great White North.
Chili wrestling. I will start the Canadian Chili Wrestling League. That's what I will start. Good fucking Christ, these people.
Have you looked at the artwork though?
I don't know. I got a message. I didn't even go to their page. I haven't looked at it. I got a fucking
Yeah,
image. Another
That's
publisher
gotta
sent me an image.
You will
If
never
you
see
guys
a more
make
wretched
RPG,
hive. You will never see a more wretched hive of bisexual coloring, thanks to Shauner's quote, pink and blue everywhere. Everything is
You know
pink
that
and
used to be 80s colors, pink and blue? That used to be our 80s colors. That was our neon 80s thing. That's it was blue and magenta, basically, right? Those were the two,
I don't know
cyan
what
and
you
magenta.
were doing. I don't know what
In
you were
North
doing.
America. I don't know what the fuck you guys were doing in the 80s because you're from a place that doesn't exist. So don't worry about it.
California most absolutely does exist.
No, you're from a real place. He's from Australia. The Great Line New Zealand made us all believe was real.
We're just hot Canada.
No, you're
It's
not.
just
New
hot.
Zealand is hot Canada. You're hot America. Australians have this understanding that doesn't reach their brain stems, which is you are the America of the Southern Hemisphere. New Zealand is the Canada.
Probably.
Like
I'm
Austria.
Sure
Austria's the Canada. Germany's the America. You know how you say that works?
I'm sure there's a garbage island somewhere in the Pacific that's like our fault. Like, no question.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Jesus Christ. And now you got me looking at this fucking page.
But you make RPGs.
God.
You make RPGs, right, Bear? You make games, right?
I clearly
So
don't because I don't get money like this.
Doesn't this signify something good for you, like in the sense
No.
that, like, if the industry is
doesn't.
that big enough, if the industry is big enough to support that, like, surely that's got to have some trickle beyond for the indies, you know?
I don't think so. I think there's zero trickle down in indie gaming. I think all indie gaming is absolutely at the mercy of whatever audience you can build, and they will not spend money on you as much as they often as they can. Jesus Christ!
So as
$9
someone
million
whose only role playing
fucking
game is like the
dollars.
print on demand copy of Beck Me, is this stuff driven by trends as well? Is this like partly about
Well, it's
what's
marketing, right? Like
fashionable?
you got to market. You got to market. You got to
They,
market.
they,
You got to
they,
market.
they had an extensive commercial campaign on YouTube and elsewhere. I saw it
Yeah.
on YouTube. I clicked on it once. I went, this looks interesting in that I was wanting to make a space opera game. And now I know exactly how not to do it and maintain my integrity and vision and not turn it into the the most
So
immature looking crap I've ever seen.
what you're
There's
describing,
some things
I'm
about it, I'm
picturing
not
like
gonna lie.
is it like the Mexican orcs? Like they're all friendly and
No, it's more like
barbecue or-
it's more like My Pretty Pony in space.
right, like their
That's the
wedding in
impression I got. It's very furry friendly and very bright and colorful and devoid of any real um,
well,
grittiness.
Okay. You know what? You know what? I figured it out. I have to figure out how to do heroic using the 5e engine and do a heroic 5e edition. Because Traveler 5e is making a shit ton of money. Anything Shadow Dark, which is essentially a base 5e system, making a shit ton of money. This fucking nonsense is making a shit ton of money. How do I do 5e fucking superheroes? That's what I need to ask myself.
Is that
Breaks
all?
my heart, man. I know so many indie publishers, myself one of them, who we bust our ass, we do labors of love, and we can't get money for what we want because people just want to say the latest fucking
Well,
hot thing.
because you refuse to cater to the lowest common denominator.
Well, yes,
So
but I'm going to be in a position where I can't afford to feed myself soon.
I
So
think doing a 5e,
maybe catering to the fucking lowest common denominator is a smart fucking move when you're not independently
if you
wealthy.
have the capacity to do a 5e version of whatever you're doing, you probably just should, right? Like if you can, right? If you can easily port what you're doing to like that, like why wouldn't you? Like if you wanted to be big, right? I mean, I've never played 5e.
I've seen Bear go through this before, and what usually happens is he's like,
what?
yeah, I've seen you have this thought process before. I forget what game it was last time.
Shadow
You're like,
Dark.
yeah, and then you're like, yeah, I can't do it.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Can you subordinate that to someone else who's like really into 5e?
No,
loves your
I
stuff?
actually okay. So unlike you bitter cunts, I actually like 5e. I don't hate 5e. I think 5e has a very excellent core engine. What I dislike
I've never tried it. I don't know anything about it. I hear people rag on it.
Yeah, people like to rag. OSR guys love to bitch and groan because things aren't like they were 40 years. But the point is that the 5e engine is actually not a bad fucking gaming engine. It's a decent game engine, but all the only thing that I noticed added onto it. Can I finish my fucking statement, James? Jesus Christ!
Of course.
That's why you are. That's why you're the America. New Zealanders wouldn't interrupt. They would wait for the person to finish politely, like Canadians do.
That's why you're such a dominant world power.
Yeah, that's Australia. Dominant.
You were saying, Bear.
Anyway, we have uranium.
So do we. What the shit? We've got uranium.
But we're secretly enriching it.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We live next door to America. Our best friend's bigger than your best friend, okay? What do you want, fuck? Anyway, the point is 5e gets ruined by all the expansion material. All the extra rules, all the extra subclasses, all the extra. It becomes an unplayable fucking game after a while. But if you take that core basic fucking 5e engine, it's a very good resolution system. It works well, it plays fast, and it's fun. So how do I do a superhero game in that? That's where my brain has to go now.
Well, you got to break one
on the outside.
I got to break one of my what?
Cardinal rules, which is superhero can't be a
Exactly. Class and level superhero games don't work. So now I have to be the asshole to find a way to make them work.
it doesn't sound really hard to me because I don't have that problem. And I mean, I played Palladium, I played index card RPG versions and other um,
I just
class
ate lunch.
and
Do you
level.
mind? I don't want to throw up. Okay, if you don't mind.
I've done it and it didn't suck. You know why it didn't suck? Because we'd never even contemplated that it can't be done this way or shouldn't be done this way.
I'm
We
a
just
level
did.
3 Iron Man. Brr.
Well, it
Like, come
wasn't.
on.
Literally, the
I'm a
very
level
first
10 Superman, as Paul likes to say. Come on.
literally the very first superhero role playing game, a superhero 2044, I think it was, is literally class and level based. It was the
It
worst
also
game ever
didn't have the
written.
ability to create characters. I had Superhero 24, and I
Yeah,
sold it.
I
And I
still
said, no,
do. I
that got
bought it like
stolen.
three.
That got
I've
stolen.
literally bought it like 3 times in my lifetime just to make sure I still have a copy because of how much it's worth for a collector. Someday I can sell it to some jackass for $1,000 and go, here you go, here's your car payment, Jackie, or whatever. Because it does that just that. But um, what you've got to do is come up with a group of classes that aren't so intrinsically specific to like a superhero. Okay,
Can I
like you
give
said,
you? Can I give
I
you?
a class
I already have it, by the way. If you're on my Patreon, I already did a heroic OSR port way back a couple of years ago, and all I did was I created. Someone's going to steal this shit from me and like he'll put it out before I get it out. But what I did was I took the D20 modern mentality, and I made the classes brawler, or bruiser, scrapper, thinker, observer, talker. Basically, they were based around the idea of how you are a hero, and then
And
you can
mind
multi-class as you go along,
taker.
right? So you can, yes, exactly, and mind taker, mind taking, and you just go like that. And then as you go up in levels, you can mix your classes to become. So Batman might be like a level 10 thinker and a level 7 scrapper and a level, so that way you can build the character out from there. Problem is how to do the powers. That's always going to be the hard part. But I think Marvel Multiverse unlocked that. You do power trees.
Oh, hey, real quick, Bear. You don't have to worry about anybody stealing your ideas because nobody
No one's
watches
watching.
this show.
Yeah, nobody's watching. I know. I relate.
But I personally, I honestly, still to this day, love Villains and Vigilantes power system
Yeah.
based on
V&V's
stats.
power system's good. That's what I did in my heroic thing. I used a V&V style. You took the power, and then there was a calculation of this plus this times this equals this, and then there was PowerPoint use. And
But that won't work today because nobody can do math anymore.
Well, no, you can't have any PowerPoints because my God, if my powers cost points, well, why am I using them? Like that mentality. I just want to be able to do it.
Right, like mana and spell slots. Those are fine, but your power costing some sort of energy cost. It's still my desert island game because I can literally run anything with it, and I've run scores of different actual genres using that system. It again though the math is very mathy, and
I did like the look of the new 5e starter that has like a kind of board gamey sort of like nice onboarding if you're a new player, harkening back to the earlier modules. It's only the artwork that I just don't really vibe on. Like it's pretty much everything
it's too
else.
soft, right? It's too soft for my taste.
It's just a bit cheesy. It's the whole Eberron thing of like you want the Middle Ages but with plumbing. Okay, that's fine. But you want the Middle Ages but with like espresso machines and like mass transit and all kinds of.
That's literally what I did my video on this morning. How high tech is your fantasy world? Because I mean, you can do whatever you want and not have to go that particular 5e route and make it all the things that we love, but just move things around a little bit. Not going quite the corporate sponsorship.
And I can kind of deal kind of deal with like a really progressive, highly civilized kind of technological society in a fantasy context, but like give me something to contrast it with as well. Like if everywhere is just downtown Seattle, then it's not that exciting, is it? It's
Right.
you know,
Right. You have to.
yeah.
I mean, some of the best parts of any good adventure are the struggle, the suffering, the chases, the escapes, the hard times you have to have, and it's amazing, especially in today's modern world of unlimited convenience, how much people are drawn to the bleakness, the suffering, the struggles uh,
Yeah, I mean, Grimdark
in our
itself
fantasy
can be
games.
you can overdose. You can overdose on like Grimdark as well, but
Oh,
then the alternative
absolutely,
can also
Well,
get a
absolutely.
bit
it's like
saccharine, you
overdosing
know.
on mudcore, right? You can overdose on mudcore.
Yeah, totally,
Been
totally.
there, done that.
Especially when people associate that with like authenticity or getting close to like a simulation. It's like, I had to say, someone said to me a long time ago, like, historical games aren't about simulation, for example. Like, it's just a game with like a fun theme, and you might touch on like some of the realities of that situation, but it's not even ever going to be close. So just have fun,
Yeah.
like,
hmm
yeah.
you're never gonna smell the gunpowder. You're never gonna bleed. You're never gonna get dysentery. You're as
Uh,
far removed as you could possibly be while you're commanding
I
the
had I
little
had
army.
one uncle. I had one uncle in the Korean War who was found 3 days after a battle under a motorcycle and a pile of snow, and he didn't know what happened. You know? He was like, "Yeah, I just heard a loud bang, and that was it. That was 3 days ago."
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not going to make for a fun game, but like.
Mm.
Yeah, like you can overdose on Mudcore. I think high fantasy is like a great palate cleanser, and Pauldron Core, if you want to call it that, is a great palate cleanser. You got to switch between the flavors. Like if you ate the same thing every day, you get pretty bored
Yeah.
eventually, right?
With the
I
closing
still
down.
like pussy.
Nice. But with the closing down of a couple of my weekly games, I'm not even going to entertain anything fantasy except my Sunday game, which is super weird. Uh, not even really Middle Ages, medieval. It's something completely just its own, and
Well, I
I'm
mean, the
not.
other thing is, you guys have done everything. Like half of these things I haven't tried nearly as many times as you. I'm not as like, you guys are looking for new vistas. Like, let's, come up with something new. Whereas like
No,
something
not so
like,
much new. Like two of my top 10 bucket list games to play are a good western, and it doesn't have to have any supernatural in it whatsoever. Just a good old fashioned, spaghetti western with nothing weird in it, right?
yeah.
Because
Weird
you're
is fine.
allergic
I
to
don't mind that.
fun.
I don't mind that at all. But it's just as long as western is one half of the genre, okay.
Hmm.
And then good old fashioned top secret, a spy game, maybe set in the
Hmm.
'60s, maybe in the '80s. Definitely not in the 2020 era, anything like that. Unless
Hmm.
it's going to be like a hardcore like conspiracy, Alex Jones, the role playing game. Then I will do the modern era. Um,
Alex Jones, the role playing game.
Think
You are
about that.
a
I mean, there
strange
is
man.
so much. There is so much going on right now since 2020. If you made tried to redo Millennium, right? But it's 20 years later, you
The
would have
show?
so much to work with, right? I mean, you'd
The
piss
show
everybody
Millennium?
off. What?
Yeah. The show Millennium?
Yeah, yeah.
I was on that.
Really,
So you understand that if you did it today, you would have like a crap
Canada's
ton of crazy.
Canada's leading high winds actor.
High Winds?
Yeah, it's there's a British comedy, and it's about actors, and it's called Toast of London. And he goes, he's a leading high winds actor, and he plays roles where he's exclusively in
Most of
high
London.
winds.
That's
Like
Matt
walking.
Berry, isn't that Matt Berry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Matt Berry. Mary's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are speaking Greek. I have no idea what you're talking about, but
You
carry
don't know who
on.
Matt Berry is? Have you ever seen the things we do in the shadows?
I tried to introduce him to Garth Marenghi's Dark Place because I
Oh my
thought
There
god,
you
that's
go.
that's
That's
a hard
it. That's
watch.
it, Mike. I'm stealing that. Thank you. That's it.
They're making the damn dice gay. They're putting something in the polymer. It's making the dice gay. Well, get back, Satan. You will not have this game, Satan. Yeah,
Is it bad that I find the idea of like fruity dice kind of exciting? It's like, oh, what am I going to do today?
Is that like Fruity Pebbles? What is Fruity Dice? I don't understand.
Zesty dice.
Spicy dice.
Spicy dice.
Mm.
Spicy dice.
Spicy dice. Mm.
Yeah, I definitely. I've had a conspiracy game on the bucket list for a while. That sounds like
They should make a conspiracy theory game where the goal is to believe all conspiracies concurrently. Oh wait, you already won.
Conspiracy.
I think I'm gonna start working on that. I've got just the book to check out. Do I have?
Well, there was Steve Jackson's Illuminati card game, which had a lot of like weirdly prescient kind of.
Oh yeah, I was going
references
through the
to-
Illuminati cards a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like, he must have been like really good friends with Matt Groening from The Simpsons or something. That's all I can say. Can you guys keep the show running for just a minute?
Yeah,
right
I
back.
mean, I pulled out the card Bridget Macron's penis, and I was like, wow, that was really like prescient. But
Bridget who?
I'm joking.
Bridget.
But
Okay.
Brigitte Macron.
Yeah, that game got them raided by the FBI. Actually.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Surely not.
Yes, sir.
That's great. That just kind of adds to the mythos.
They had all their computers stolen. It was crazy.
That just adds to the mythos of it, though, doesn't it? That just makes it even more desirable, you know?
Yeah, somewhat.
He said, stating the obvious, laboring the point. But, you know. Yeah, I never ruled out the idea of playing 5e. I did wonder because they did a kind of interim edition, didn't they? They did like a 0.5 release, and I was like, how many people who came on with like Stranger Things and the kind of resurgence of interest in Dungeons and Dragons, like how many of those people are just going to stick with the 5e that they bought the first time around? Probably most of them, right? So
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, do those point releases really have much impact on like whether you're if you're writing a module? Does the release of something like that kind of put you off, or is it usually just backwards compatible with like minor tweaking?
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore. I don't design modules. I think modules are a waste of fucking time, but that's me. I grew up when they were something to be shunned because, you know, they just cost money and they didn't do anything. Oh, it's weird.
Even
like,
if not a module, like a source book, like would you be put off adapting your game knowing that they were doing like a 0.5 release, or does it usually not impact it that much?
What do you mean by 0.5 release?
Well, they did 5e, but then last year they put out this weird kind of like interim version.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's D&D 5.5 now. Yeah. Why would I? But I don't understand the question you're asking. What is the question you're asking?
Well, I mean, are the changes between those like so big that it would put you off, or are you just like, nah, I can confidently it sort of depends on the.
Well, I honestly don't know. And
meringue.
given that they promised it was backwards compatible, I don't think it would be an issue.
So for supers, do you have like your own world and your own heroes and villains and stuff, like
Yes, I do.
your own kind of comic book universe?
I've actually published comics in it. Yes.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I take it very seriously.
Neat.
Bear. Have levels in the 5e. Have levels in the 5e hero. Just don't call them levels, and definitely don't explain them as such. The LCD folks will think you're genuine. The LCD? What are the LCD, Squirrel Hermit? Hey, Squirrel, how you doing, by the way? What's LCD? Last called dicks? Lime-colored daffodils? What is LCD, sir? I've got nothing on that one.
Lactose chomping Dutchman.
Ooh, lactose chomping Dutchman.
What character classes appear in the Alex Jones verse? Oh my god. That's a that's a good one. I'm gonna have to go through and start working on that. There. Have levels in the 5e hero, just don't call them levels. And definitely don't explain them as such.
Levels, Jerry. Levels.
Lowest common denominator. Thank you. I'm gonna steal that, Squirrel. I really use that expression a lot lately, and it bums me out. I guess it's the elitist in me. I always thought that at least the gamers I hung out with and knew personally were a cut above a lot of the rest of the folks I knew for whatever reason. Maybe it was because I love the hobby that much, and everybody I've met who's stuck with the hobby for more than just like a one and done kind of thing have had qualities that I admired or shared. There's a new RPG called Liberals and Dragons, where their characters play different social justice warriors. Okay, I don't want any part of that.
Hey, can you take us off this weird Pierce Morgan's interview fucking style layout? Is that at all possible? Every time I lean in, my head becomes like I'm a Watu checking them out,
Yeah.
I really want Anna Kasparian to yell at me.
No, that made it worse.
So do you guys still notice culture war stuff that much? I kind of just ignore it at this point. Like, I just do what I do, which is like paint goblin. Like
That's not what I thought that was. I don't know how to do that. That's weird. It doesn't actually let me.
Bottom of the screen, you're going to see a bunch of different little choices, and they're your layout buttons. You go ahead and you pick the one you want.
No, that's not it.
Take the comment down. That helps when you don't have starred comments on. Why am I doing tech support for Grandpa? What the fuck?
He punished you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't.
That's turning on the chat.
This is what you get. It's
Shadow, I'm going to open up my restream in another screen, and I'm going to walk you through verbally, okay? Please do not take offense at the tone of voice I'm about to adapt. It is merely my customer service voice for grandmothers. Don't get offended, okay? All right.
Please note that your call may be recorded.
Shadow, I want you to do me a favor right now. Shadow, at the bottom of your screen, right underneath where you're seeing all of our heads, can you describe for me what you see down there, please?
Microphone, the camera, the share screen, the invite guests, and the three dots.
Right above that, between the two, between the pictures of us and those things you described, do you see a bunch of rectangles with gray squares?
Nope.
Shadow, can you share your screen by any chance? Is that possible?
Let's see. Does that do it? Nope, nope, that didn't do it. That did something completely crazy that I didn't want.
Yeah. So
Um,
I can't see your system, so I can't tell you. But I can tell you at the bottom of Restream, right above the microphone and right above the camera thing, there should be little gray things, and
no,
those
there's
allow you
not.
to change your screen layout. Well, then I can't help you. I'm so sorry. You're going to need to call Geek Squad to come to your house and do this for you.
Huh. No, I don't want that either. Thank you. That's crazy. I don't want that either. Come on. See what it was. Okay, there we go. Whoa. Okay, wait. Now there's space where you said there should be symbols, but there's no icons there. Maybe that. No, I don't want that either. Huh? That's weird.
I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
I agree.
I would recommend taking down the quote that you've got up right now, the starred comment. Take that down because it does force Restream to shunt things up. But again, if you're not seeing the layout stuff, I don't know what to tell you at this point.
Yeah, it's how do I get this? Now I just erased all everybody's names. I didn't want that. Okay.
I don't need a name.
Okay, what the hell?
Well, I sure am glad I came here for this.
Yeah, I don't know how I freaking deleted all everybody's names. That's weird.
It's because you clicked into the. No, my God. Okay. I can't tech support you on this, Shadow. I know how to do all the things you want to do, but I can't tech support you on this because it's like tech supporting my father back in the day.
You broke the stream, Bear. Apologize.
I didn't do shit. Turn off sharing, stop screen sharing, and it'll bring your screen back to where it was, and you'll be happier.
Okay.
And you're the reason my cow isn't giving any milk this season.
Yeah, well, that's a horrible thing to call your wife.
I should take her off the machine.
Wow. Yeah, I try not to squirrel with the culture war stuff, but being a dad, I gotta be on, some sort of vigilant mode for being able to have discussions with my son and see how he feels about these things and what he's going to do about them and try to guide him along.
God gave you something special. Do not stick it in a toaster. That's all he's got to know. Then go forth. Problem solved.
So my best friend spent most of his son's upbringing explaining to him more than once. He'd say, "Listen, if you're gay, it's okay. Like, it's okay if you're gay. We won't. I'll still love you. I'll still accept you if you're gay." And so, did you just kick us all out? Are we here?
Son of a bitch.
What happened?
I don't know. Shadow's being an old man with a mouse. Anyway, so I'll just keep telling my story. So anyway, so he would do this all through the kids growing up. Finally, when his son was like 16 or 17, he just turned around and went, "Dad, why do you think I'm gay?" Like he had enough of being told it was okay if he was gay. He was like, "I'm not gay. Why do you keep thinking this?" It's like, yeah, there you go. That's the world we live in now.
Because your mother bought you culottes when you were 9.
Oh my God, what the hell are culottes?
You don't want to know.
Are they like little boy shorts or something?
Worse.
Little girl shorts.
No. Isn't it like a kind of like a banana hammock with no backside?
I would describe it as a summery cheesecloth plimsoll of the Ottoman style, pillowing.
Culottes are a type of fucking pant, guys. What's wrong with you people? The fuck is wrong with you? They come just below the knee, and they're wide, and they're considered summery. The fuck is wrong with you guys? Banana hammocks with no ass in them.
I'm sorry, I'm going
bandits.
by. What am I thinking of? I remember there was this episode of Family Guy.
You're thinking of your Friday night is what you're thinking.
There was an episode of Family Guy where the kids, Steve and his friends, were wearing something that was basically like a brightly colored jock strap on the beach.
That's not a culotte, buddy. And also, Steve is from American Dad, not.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
That shows you exactly, Dino Laser. Hello, computer.
I haven't watched much of either of those shows in probably 10, 15 years. I did try watching, what was it, The Orville? And I didn't hate it, but I couldn't really get into it as well.
I liked it.
Hey, Bear, what you eating?
Hot dogs. Well, wieners. I think when there's no bun, it's just a wiener. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow, at the bottom of your screen where you were sharing, just stop sharing. Click on that and then click stop sharing.
I did, and
no, you didn't. No, you didn't. So the little TV symbol with the up arrow, right?
Yep.
Hover your mouse, you'll see the 3 dots. You click on the 3 dots, and it'll bring up the little selection menu, and one of them is stop. It's in red. You can't miss it.
No, that's not what it's showing me at all.
What's it like living on the other side of the Large Hadron Collider? In the mirror universe you're in. Where nothing works the way it does for everyone else.
I am on a laptop. Maybe that's part of it.
Well, you've just tuned into tech support with Shadow and Son and guests. And we're wrestling with the Samsung Galaxy.
We're wrestling with the fucking obtrusiveness of. Ah, there. Congratulations, Shadow.
Is this Piers Morgan again, or was that more truncated?
No, this
Piers
is still the
Morgan.
Piers Morgan style, but you know what?
Yeah,
We'll
it
live
is.
with Piers Morgan style.
Let's go over here and
I think
see
he's definitely.
what.
I
Hello,
think he's
computer.
definitely done a lot to advance
Redneck.
world peace.
The redneck family had an intervention because I wanted to be a hairstylist. What?
It was the 80s. He means that he had big hair and he looked like he was in Hanoi Rocks.
Yeah,
Hanoi,
yeah.
really? Hanoi Rocks? Did someone reference
Yeah,
Hanoi
why
Rocks
not?
and I missed it? Come on, the rising wind. We're going off around the bend. Yeah. And then don't get in a car with Motley Crue. Oh.
Please stop. That was so good. We'll get copyright struck.
Oh, you are so full of shit, but thank you. I appreciate the butter in my ass.
I've definitely been watching too much. I've definitely been watching too much Adventure Brothers, because everything you guys just said, like, was reminding me of different things that Hunter Thompson said in one of the last episodes. You know, don't kick me in the nuts and tell me my shorts are too tight. Don't throw up in my hair and tell me it's shampoo. Stuff like that. It was just like, I got to start watching something else with my free time.
Yeah, you really do. I've downloaded this show that Doc was telling me was good. We're going to see if it's good or not. It's called People of Earth. It was on TBS for like 2 seasons, and it's about it's like about an alien abduction support group, but there's actually aliens. And like there's this one like tall white who's like just a pretty boy, and he just goes out to clubs and stuff. It's interesting. We'll see.
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I could also be thinking of the show with I forget the actor's name. Played Wash from Firefly.
That's Resident Alien.
Okay.
Never seen it.
I'm
Good.
so on top of like present day entertainment that I have just started watching Babylon 5.
Do this the 90s.
Yeah, that's how far behind I am.
Clearly.
Like I've got a bit of a backlog.
Do whatever it takes to make it through season 1, and then it gets good.
And then remember, once you're done watching it, you can never, ever watch it a second time, unless you have like, you know, I don't know what, brain deficiency, and then you can watch it a second time and be like, it's so good, because I watched it, loved it, was really into the show. 10 years later, went back to rewatch it. 5 episodes in, I'm like, well, but I already know how this ends, and I get all the references. This isn't interesting anymore. There's no mystery to unravel now. It's just boring. When
it comes to sci-fi, I probably more of the like run-down kind of satirical, nothing works, everything's made out of paper mache, British kind of school, right? Like, but you know, I like some Star Trek, and I kind of have a sort of almost a newfound appreciation for Star Wars. Like, you know, maybe I was a bit too hip to admit that it was like actually good for a long time, and I've like sat down and reappraised it and gone, this is actually just quite a fun adventure. Like, don't worry too much about the specifics, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what you do is you basically watch it once, and then when you go to rewatch it the second time, Michael Hutchins yourself a little bit first, and then watch it, because the asphyxiation to the brain will reduce some of the memory cells, and hopefully you'll be surprised again.
I mean, I've watched Blake 7 like 3 times. Like,
Blake 7's just damn good, though.
Yeah, like it's fantastic series.
They talk about a hard show to find on DVD, though. Holy
Yeah.
crap!
Yeah. And Red Dwarf I've watched a few times. Doctor Who, it's like hit and miss. There are some like great episodes and then some real stinker episodes. You know what I mean? It's kind of a bit more choppy.
Yeah.
And nowadays, forget about it. I don't even know. I don't understand what's happening. Like people complain about shows being woke. I just watch modern entertainment and like I just can't follow what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't connect with it. So I don't know whether it's woke or, you know, not woke or whatever. I just don't really vibe on it, you know. So I don't feel like it's made for me. I think it's just made for like a younger audience and a more international audience, and that's fine, you know. I don't get too upset about it because there's hundreds and thousands of hours of TV and film that I haven't seen yet from like before I was born, even, you know.
Same here. I never watched the Prisoner. I'm getting ready to watch that probably next week.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You'll look at beach balls differently in the future.
Very much so. Do you know the story? Do you know the story of the beach ball and why it happened that way?
No.
They built a really cool machine. It was like this little like remote control truck, and it had grabber arms and stuff. And then they took it out for the first day of shooting, and it just went into the mud. And they were like, ah! And then they had to scramble. And one guy's like, I found this like store of weather balloons. Fine, we'll use that. That's how that happened.
Because
the best stuff is always when they
see that back to back with like the monster in Dark Star. It's kind of maybe of the same ilk, you know.
Yeah, Blake did look like Tom Jones.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Or a Timu Tom Baker.
He and Tom Baker were good friends, like good drinking buddies. And they were begging the directors to allow them to have an episode on either show where they would just run past each other in a corridor, and that was it. Like, you know,
that would have been freaking hysterical.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like when I was watching Blake 7 the first time, the only time really, and what was his name? The other Baker was playing that villain in Black.
Colin Baker, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Colin Baker. And
the Master.
I was just like,
the Master. You talking about the Master?
No. Colin Baker was playing a bad guy in Blake 7, all dressed.
Oh yes, he was. Yes.
And I was just like, oh my god, this is so freaking fun. Knowing what we all knew. You guys probably knew ahead. It's just like,
I mean, half the people on those shows were like out of work Shakespearean actors, and they would do it so over the top and so campy that it would just be like great, like really almost kind of overselling it for how like cheesy the sets are. I kind of feel like when sci-fi isn't perfect, you kind of have to suspend your disbelief a little bit more and like, kind of throw yourself into the story a little bit more when the ship wobbled a little bit, I
was also thinking about the actress who played Servalan from Blake 7.
Yeah. She was a little bit of a smoke show in her own sort of like naughty way.
That's exactly what I wanted to bring up is like if I saw her today or even back then, just walking down the street, I wouldn't have given her a freaking second thought, second look, nothing. But
she's the ball electrocutor, so
Wasn't Callie? Was the psychic girl was Callie, right?
Yeah.
That actress, when her head is in motion on the screen, very cute. Mm-hmm. Go look at still images of her. She's one of those women that like she's cute in motion, but when you take a shot of her just frozen, it's
right. It's like who is she doing to get the part? Whereas Servalan, it's kind of like that Cleopatra thing where the power and everything else come together and like boost her charisma or comeliness or something a couple of notches, because kind of like how I was talking about non-magical clothing and armor as treasure in your fantasy role-playing games. They put her in those outfits and they like clothes make the man. Well, clothes make the woman too, apparently, if she's a megalomaniacal freaking intergalactic ice princess.
Put me to sleep with those silver boots. kind space lady.
Just she was a hell of an actress. She pulled that shit off. Where I don't
And
think
she
too
was
many
also
other.
in Doctor Who. She was also in Doctor Who in a Colin Baker. Yeah, so like you want to talk about flipping the script, she's like in a Colin Baker episode where Patrick Troughton
Did,
came back, and there was like
did
a
she
two
play like
doctor
a scientist,
story.
or am I thinking of somebody else? Like some
No, she
like
was a
really.
villain. She was like some kind of like cannibalistic villain, basically, or her offsider was like a cannibal, and
I
yeah.
don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. But then again, I probably won't watch too much Doctor Who
By the
anytime
way, I'd
soon.
like to point something out. By the way, Shadow, you have no idea how time works.
No,
Okay,
clearly.
just so we're clear. I just want to make sure.
I mean, when you've been around as long as I do, it all just sort of runs together. It's you're not careful, you fall into a wormhole back to 1984.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
I'm kind of
Hmm.
gearing up to watch Red Dwarf again, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. I think I might
I would highly recommend
get the
stopping
DVD.
as soon as
When the duo splits, stop watching.
Oh,
Yeah,
Once it's only because
Reprobates.
they were the perfect team, because one guy was all the visual gags and the other guy was all the sarcastic, thoughtful gags. Brought it together, it was perfect. As soon as thoughtful guy left, it was like 5 seasons in a row of just visual gags, and it was like, this is
Well,
not fucking clever.
I think
anymore.
as soon as they start doing episodes that like reference Red Dwarf, like they become self-referential, I'm like out completely.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
I didn't even buy
It's
those
like, let's go
seasons.
to a planet where Red Dwarf is a TV show. You know, I'm like, come on.
Fuck.
You know,
Oh god, I hated that.
like,
But as soon as they brought in the last actress to play Kachansky, complete opposite personality and everything about that character that made her great in the few scenes she was in the early episodes. I just tuned out. I bought season 1 through 8, I think it is, in a box set, and like Bear said, as soon as Ace slash Rimmer left, he comes back in the. It's not that many episodes actually before he comes back, but it's just it loses so much that
I think I
it's
have
just
an
not
alternate.
when it's
I think I have an
Kachansky.
alternate
Right.
CD down here. You know,
God, she
Claire
was
Grogan.
just absolutely.
I
She
think
was
I've
just
got
the
her album
cutest thing.
down here somewhere. Yeah. I've got Aha.
Take on me.
I with my subscriber giveaway. What is that?
The Cure. Early.
Oh, okay. I must have gave away about 20 CDs for my collection this last week.
I still buy them because not everything is being picked up in the great digitization, you know, like
Well, the reason I was able to give the CDs away is because I bought the box set. So like my collection of Blue Oyster Cult CDs, it was like this tall a stack, right? But when I bought the box set, it's like this. So it just saved a bunch of space on my shelf where I keep the music that I actually listen to. So I gave that to one of my friends, and I gave away a bunch of Eagles CDs. I gave one lucky contestant the best of the Go-Go's. I was going to give away my copy. I was going to give away my copy of the best of Bananarama, but apparently something had spilled on that CD, and it was trashed. I couldn't give it away.
There was the 3 of them. There was the one, Siobhan Fahey, who went on to do Shakespeare's Sister.
Yeah.
Then there was the other short one, but then there was the tall blonde that was always in the middle.
Yeah.
That was the one. That was the one from Bananarama. I was always like, hello, who's this lady? Must pay attention.
I mean,
the only reason I had the CD because a girlfriend left it in my house after we broke up.
Right.
And
Liar! Why must you make this panel a den of lies? You were Venusing all over your living room happily. You know it.
No, but you know what was funny? Going through all my CDs, I literally found like a stack, like probably 50 CDs that I got every one of them from Columbia Music Club.
Oh my God!
All I can say is that must have been a cruel summer.
It's like that line from fucking Family Guy Star Wars when it's the Emperor and it's Lois's dad and he's like, "Jagged Little Pill, god damn, that was like the soundtrack of my summer." You know, it's like, yeah, I remember that year. Everyone listened to that fucking CD like non-stop. Alanis Morissette summer. Now I can't listen to a fucking song off it.
My brother and I were like maybe a bit too like little when that came out, so we just used to parody it and like laugh. Like most of the songs that were kind of popular in the early to mid 90s, we were too little, so we would just kind of parody and laugh at all of them. We're like, why are teenagers and people in their 20s so ridiculous? You know,
I honestly, I don't think I have.
Nirvana, we just thought was silly. Like we just thought it was really like a bit overwrought.
I think the one Nirvana CD that I have is probably the only CD I have that came out in the 90s. I just skipped that whole era for various reasons.
I just watch it and I'd be like, cheer up. I bet you got a bicycle for Christmas, bastard.
I get it.
Well, on that note, gentlemen, I'm going to bounce.
You know what? I am too, actually, because I've been doing this for 2 hours. James, always a pleasure. Bear, always welcome. You guys were a lot of fun today. Thanks for brightening my morning and making me wonder where the hell the 90s went.
Just remember, when you have enough money, you can just rub it on your dick.
Good evening, everybody.
That's one to grow on.
The more you know.
It doesn't accumulate interest if you do that.